Hello, sisters and cousins. This is Esmée Streachailt. Again, I've had a lot to say lately. Here to read you a post entitled Think Mean, Take Power, Destroy Power. A post totally focused on the United States. I'm writing this to you because I know most of us don't want to think as mean as we need to. Some do. We should listen and act. Here I have a link to the Sista Separatist Substack about the many countries where male supremacists are in the lead. The Fash have one competency. They think mean. They do it naturally. It's part of their temperament. They time their moves to have the most devastating effect. Just recently, right? SCOTUS put the Voting Rights Act in a coma. And the next day, the Old South hauled its zombie body out of the grave to redistrict Black voters out of relevance. Louisiana stopped a vote in process. SCOVA, the Supreme Court of the state of Virginia, everyone waited, until a whole ballot measure had been voted and counted on redistricting. The next day, basically, more like in a week's time, the SCOVA ruled on a GOP challenge to the new map. Surprise! The noodliness of the state constitution negates the ballot. Outstanding. The bearded hater, Vice President Vance, announced rescinding $1.4 billion in Medicaid funding from California, just California. Newsom would announce the 2027 budget the next day, already hard hammered out in the state legislature, months and months and months of work. So millions of elderly, disabled, and just plain poor people will have no kind of health care at all. No payments to care homes, no maternal care. Most of these are their own voters. They will let us waste time, energy, and money. They are letting us try so that we can lose over and over. They are strategically depleting our hope and momentum. Trump has a 70% disapproval rating. So they have no choice but to wear us down as many of our and make as many of our votes as possible irrelevant or nearly impossible to cast at all. The SAVE Act is still hovering out there. The message: yes, we will deliberately endanger the lives of our own party's supporters just to fuck over a potential 2028 Democratic candidate for POTUS. Not to hoover up money to give to billionaires, no, just to pants the competition at the starting line. All the insecurity, the pettiness, the venality, the indifference, the bold-faced eugenics of it all. Mean, smug, evil. And yes, meanwhile, all the other horrors of ICE kidnapping and detention continue apace. All the other institutional and social damage rolls on from Doge's digital sledgehammer. ICE, the jagged edge of the cruelty, is still hiding an unknown number of young women isolated from the rest of the people held in Dilley concentration camp in Texas. New reporting shows that these girls are or just turned 18, and some are being moved to other locations, and no one knows what's happening to them. This is only a bit less terrifying than what we've been hearing about the blue butterfly zones. I want you to think mean. Yes, many of us have had an emotionally insightful and miraculously uplifting few weeks with Elaine Khalila's gorgeous healing essays in response to the motherless reporting. I personally am forever grateful for her wisdom. And we are tired. The rubble is weighing on everyone, on so many, so much more heavily than others. But We are facing a power that wants to reduce us all to their servant class. This is how fascists approach their people every time, no matter how much ego puffing they do for their own base. Meanwhile, farmers in the US are going bankrupt at the highest rates, 46% increase over 2025. This is just the first part of the year. Since the original populist movement grew out of Kansas under similar pressures in the 1880s. Like, we have not seen farming bankruptcies like this for over 100 years. So let us all find our succor and encouragement where we can and start to think mean. We have to win. We have to not only eke out a slim margin in the election, we have to overwhelm their redistricting machinations with massive numbers in a midterm. So no pressure. We have to prepare women and minorities for the SAVE Act, which is still alive and panting out there in the distance. If it passes over the summer, it could disenfranchise up to 69 million women across racial and class differences. But that's enough to secure the Fash in power for a generation or two, which is functionally forever. We have to push back on all fronts and get out the vote like we have never got the vote out before. No pressure. So far, that's all too much and not enough. To have to dig down, we have to find our very deepest fuck you level of commitment to our liberties. It's only treason if you lose. The t-shirts are very cool, by the way. The post you are reading or hearing right now is an act of domestic terrorism under the current guidelines of the Executive Order Countering Domestic Terrorism and Organized Political Violence. This is already a Cold War against the people and our constitutional order. All wars are won by thinking like your opposition, only more cleverly and more effectively. For example, it is not impossible that ICE will be deployed to our voting locations on election day, or for the whole week before, maybe. They won't be there to kidnap anyone. They might be there to walk into the polling place. This is usually a local school, with all their kit and weapons to demand the voters hand over the ballot machines or the ballot boxes. They might just walk in there and say, we're taking this now. They might say, we're here to secure the vote. The DOJ will announce the winner. What are we all prepared to do if that happens? Because no kings will not get that job done. Because these pathetic little assholes know how to think mean. They only understand the most brute, crude, dominating, extractive, little bully boy uses of power. But they are also clever little shitbirds. Look around your city, state, community of kind, and think, if I wanted to fuck us over for the next 2 or 3 generations, what would I do? What weakness would I exploit? What super wonky technical process lever would I pull, and when? What locations in my community, city, state, local economy, local institutions are vulnerable to physical or legal disempowerment or destruction? Every city in the world is totally food insecure after 3 days. What happens if these monsters, due to, say, Kansas City, Kansas, what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz? It's not impossible. It's mean and batshit crazy, but it's not impossible. It's a nice city, KCK. I was a child there. Love it. The city park on Metcalf in Overland Park was a paradise when I was a child. But it's just out of the way enough and just economically irrelevant enough and just big enough to make an excellent example for the rest of us. I mean, think mean, diabolical. And then think about the easiest actions they can take and the most effective timing to take them. Position yourselves ahead of them on those things. Because isolating Kansas City, Kansas is very maximum effort. And these pretenders are looking for low-hanging fruit. Instead, they'll keep pulling Medicaid funding, move on to Medicare, etc. What's working for them is that what's working for us is that they are also stupid. They thought Iran would be easy. That's how stupid they are. Check out your local Latino caucus in your Democratic Party. Reach out, see what's needed, right? Do this across the many caucuses. Bolster your local food banks. When folks lose their prescription coverage, they will have to source food differently. Health clinics. Reach out to them. Drug rehabs, Planned Parenthood might be moved to provide pro bono care. Talk to them. They can't cover everything, but you can help some folks that way. Double down on your Minneapolis-style neighboring. And if you do have to mobilize, have childcare cooperatives at the ready. Make plans, even if you're not sure. As the tacticians say, no plan survives contact with reality, but not having a plan means you already lost. A plan gets you ahead. I don't know where you are, but you do. Look around with the eyes of someone who wants to disempower you forever. These all need doing, and we need all the oxytocin we're going to get from doing these good and protective things to keep us optimized and optimistic, to keep us optimistic and energized. Getting connected in our community, this is what this means. This will make you feel good. This will give you the power to keep going. But think mean. Reacting is too late. Get ahead of these fuckers because they are terrified, which means they are maximally dangerous. They have nowhere to go from here. It's stay in power or go to prison, and they know it. So think mean. Look forward to it. We have to take power, use it to create accountability, rebuild our republic in a better form, and in the doing, slowly devolve power to more people in more places. That is, we have to take power to destroy power. Think mean. Stay rad. Be good to each other out there. Catch you next time.